And welcome back to Sacramento Smooth Jazz Clear Talk Financial Series. This is the time where we take 5 to 7 minutes away and pause the music to give you financial insight. For several weeks now, John Nunes, President and CEO of Fortis Insurance Solutions, has been giving us some good insight in regarding Roth conversions. And your questions has fueled us to continue this conversation. We're in part 5 now because of your questions. And we're going to share with you how you can get your free guide on how a Roth conversion works and how it makes sense or may not make sense for you. And John's going to talk about all of that. Every time we come together, it's no hype, it's no pressure, and definitely no financial noise. It's always straight and thoughtful conversation. And why do we do that? Because we want to make sure that you have more of a confident level about your financial road ahead. Okay. So John Nunes, welcome back to Clear Talk. As always, man, you're welcome here. How's your day going?
Day's going fantastic, Michael. Once again, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, John, in part 4, you walk through how to decide how much to convert instead of just guessing at a number. If someone understands the amount and the timing, what is the final piece before they take action?
Well, Michael, the final piece is always coordination, because the Roth conversion, first of all, it shouldn't sit by itself. It has to connect to the entire income plan, the tax plan, the liquidity plan, the risk plan, obviously, and the legacy plan. Now, otherwise, a person may create a Roth account and still not know how to retire with confidence, because the account itself, it's not the strategy. What is the strategy is the entire coordination of the plan.
Got it. Okay. Now, a lot of people have an IRA, maybe even 401k, some savings, a Roth, or even an annuity. But sometimes they feel still uncertain about a few things. Why does owning several accounts not automatically create a retirement plan?
Well, because first of all, the accounts they're just tools, okay? They don't automatically tell you which dollars to use first, which dollars to protect, which dollars should remain liquid, or which dollars should be positioned for your lifetime income. But a retirement plan does that. It gives each account a role, and that's what we specialize in. Now, if you look at traditional IRA dollars, what they may provide is income, but Roth dollars may provide tax flexibility. Cash may provide liquidity, and annuity income may provide a protected paycheck. Now, the strength is, how do you put all of those pieces together?
And that makes sense. And I believe many do understand, especially those who are newly retired. They're understanding a lot right now. Now, you often talk about diversification, tax diversification, that is, more specifically. And listeners have asked about what that actually means in retirement. How can different tax buckets create more flexibility later?
Well, what it does is the tax diversification means that a retiree may have more than one type of money available. Now, there may be taxable money, tax deferred money, and even Roth money. That matters because retirement income needs can change. Now, if a large expense comes up, or if your tax bracket changes, or even if one spouse passes away, if you have more than one bucket, that may give the retiree more choices, okay? Now, the Roth conversions are just one possible way to build that flexibility over time.
Okay. Now, many of the listener questions I've noticed have been about required minimum distributions, RMDs they're often referred to as, and people are worried about being forced to take money later. Where can Roth conversions fit into that conversation without overselling the idea?
Well, RMDs can become a tax control issue because the tax deferred accounts eventually are going to force distributions under the current rules. Now, a Roth conversion, it may reduce some future tax deferred balance, which could help manage your future RMD pressure. But also under current law, the Roth IRAs generally do not require lifetime RMDs for the original owner. That doesn't mean that everyone should convert everything, obviously. But what it does is the conversion does create some taxable income today, so the future benefit has to be weighed against what the current cost is.
If you're just tuning in, we're speaking with John Nunes, President and CEO of Fortis Insurance Solutions, and this is our Clear Talk segment where we stop for about 5 to 7 minutes, the music that is, to give you some insight. And we're talking about Roth conversions, and this is part 5 of the discussion. Now, John, when a husband and wife are planning together, or when someone wants to leave money to children or whomever, how should the Roth conversion conversation change?
Well, if it comes to that point, Michael, that conversation should become more personal. Okay, so for married couples, we have to think about what happens to the surviving spouse, because that spouse may face a different tax picture later. Now, when it comes to legacy planning, your Roth money may be attractive because heirs may receive a different tax result than what they would have if you had the money in a traditional IRA. Like I always say, you got to take care of the retirement plan first. I know that legacy matters, but the client shouldn't weaken their own income plan just so they can create a tax benefit for somebody else.
Right, exactly. Now, since part 3 focused on the paycheck question, how can Roth conversions work alongside protected income strategies instead of competing against them?
Well, what they do is they can solve different problems. If you're talking about a protected income strategy, such as an annuity, which is used appropriately for a portion of your assets, that may help create a retirement paycheck and address what people fear the most, which is the longevity risk. Now, Roth dollars may provide tax flexibility and optional income later. So if you take those two ideas, they don't have to compete. The question is what each dollar is supposed to do. Now, in this scenario here, some dollars are going to create income, and some are going to provide liquidity, and some may provide tax flexibility, and even some may protect against risk. That's what we call coordinated planning.
And I think we all agree on that. So for the listener who says, I think I need this review, but I don't know where to start, what should they gather before deciding whether to convert? What do they need?
They should gather their most recent tax return. If they have it available, they should also look at their IRA and 401k statements, their Roth account statements if they have them, their Social Security estimates, any pension information if they're getting a pension. If they have an annuity, get your annuity statements and look at your monthly income needs, cash reserves, debts, beneficiary goals, and even Medicare status if applicable. And I know it's a lot of things to do, but again, we're trying to coordinate everything here. So once you have all of that, then what happens is your questions become clear in terms of which dollars are for income, which are for liquidity, which are for growth, which are for tax control, and which are for legacy. And that's how we make the decision practical. But we can only do that if we gather all of the items that come to play in that decision.
It might be or might sound overwhelming to some, but you have a wonderful plan and you put it together for people really nicely. So let me ask you this. After 5 parts of Roth conversions, but this is part 5, what is the one thing that you want listeners to remember before they act on something this important?
Well, Michael, before you convert, the one thing I always say is you got to get clarity, okay? Because a Roth conversion, it can be valuable, but you got to remember, it's not a magic potion. It's not magic. It doesn't automatically create income. It's not going to automatically erase taxes or even make a weak plan strong. But what it is, it's that one tool that has to be coordinated with the rest of the retirement plan. And if you want to get more information on clarity before you actually convert, go to our website and visit us at fortisinsurancesolutions.com/before you convert. And you can request a free guide. And if you want even more help reviewing your numbers, schedule a retirement income strategy with us. We'll help you make that decision with strategy and not assumptions.
Great. So now I want people to call you. They have the website. What's your phone number?
You can reach me, Michael, at 1-800-900-3150. That's 1-800-900-3150.
And ladies and gentlemen, he's giving you the free guide. I've made it really simple. If you're on our website now, sacsmoothjazz.fm, if you're on our website, get there, just scroll down. You'll see the Clear Talk Financial Series information, and you'll see a picture of the guide. You click on that guide, it takes you right to the page, right to it. Okay, so there you go. Get it right now. And John, as always, it's great to have you here to give us some clear talk. No hype, no pressure, no financial noise, no nonsense. We love that here on Sacramento Smooth Jazz. Really appreciate you being here as always.
Always a pleasure, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So ladies and gentlemen, as we get back to the music, you are listening to Sacramento Smooth Jazz, your escape from the noise.